Good morning and welcome to East Rose Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Patty Walsh and I will be the worship leader today. Our speaker is our own Reverend Robin Landerman Zucker, and she will be speaking on the topic, Speaking of the Devil. When we speak of the devil, who or what are we talking about? The devil appears to be in the speaker today, sorry. It will be a spirited conversation after the service. It'll take place right there, so grab your coffee and your tea and come on over and join us. Reverend Robin has been our parish minister going on 2 years now, and she has served many parishes before coming to East Rose. I want to extend a special welcome to those who are visiting us online via YouTube. I personally used YouTube when I couldn't make it here either. It's a great way to keep involved when you are unable to physically make it here. East Rose sits on the site of the occupied territory of the Clackamas Chinook people, who were forcibly displaced from this land to the Grand Ronde Reservation in 1855. We acknowledge the sacrifice endured by the ancestors of this land, and that our presence here today is only possible because of the injustices committed against them. We recognize the inherent sovereignty of the Chinook Nation and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, who carry on the traditions, history, and legacy held by their ancestors from time immemorial to this day. We seek meaningful relationships with these communities that foster repair. And now, let us take a moment right now to greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please first stand and face the cameras in the back to wave hello to our friends online. Look, it's near the clock. Camera's near the clock. I know, we're gonna have to give it a good one here. People are not good. Remember you can come and share this great enthusiasm for conversation during coffee and after the service. Right now, though, it is time for our responsive call to worship. Words will be on the screen, and I will read what is in amber. You read what is in white. This is number 521. It is by Eusebius of Caesarea, a 4th century Greek historian and philosopher. May I be no man's enemy, and may I be the friend of that which is eternal and abides.
May I wish for every person's happiness and envy none.
May I never rejoice in the ill fortune of one who has wronged me.
May I, to the extent of my power, give needful help to all who are in want.
May I never fail as a friend.
May
May I respect myself.
May I always keep tame that which rages within me.
May I accustom myself to be gentle and never be angry with others because of circumstances.
May I know good people and follow in their footsteps. Micah? At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. These are the words of Albert Schweitzer.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good to see you today. We're going to solve the entire problem of evil in the world in the next hour and 5 minutes. Actually, I don't mean to be glib. It's a very big topic, but something to think about. And I think the spirited conversations today will be especially interesting, so think about sticking around for that. Our opening words today is a poem called The Good in the Evil World by Rebecca Hazelton. It's a fairly recent poem. She writes, "Before the war leaned in and blew out the candles, there were many long days where lovers called themselves lovers, and a house was a dream, but also 4 walls, a roof. A father called to his daughter to see the monarch butterflies, pausing in their migration to fan the goldenrod, a tiger in each coy disclosure. A young man reached for a blackberry and found draped on a branch a green snake the color of matcha. A snake the color of matcha sighed in the sun. People drove in cars. There were jobs, and someone had to work every morning. A man quit his job, but it was no tragedy. He didn't like the work. Another man slid in and found it comfortable enough, and just as easily slid in beside the man's wife and into the everyday rhythms of his life and that was no tragedy either. After rains, a ring of mushrooms would delicately crack the earth. Spanish moss harbored red mites. The sky wasn't interesting. No one looked up. Our opening hymn is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. The words will be on the screen, but it's also in the gray hymnal, number 131. Please rise as you are able.
Tara Toler, our family ministry coordinator, will now share with us a story for all ages.
Bring a chair down.
She'll need a chair.
Thank you.
Good morning. Today I have a question for you. Do you know what the M in monster stands for? Anybody? It stands for mean. It's so expected for a monster to be mean, it's right there in the beginning of their name. But here's another question. What do you suppose happens when a monster is no longer mean? Are they still a monster, or do they become something else entirely? Today's story is called The Monster Who Lost His Mien, written by Tiffany Strelitz-Haber and illustrated by Kirsty Edmonds. It explores these very questions. Let's discover what happens to our main character and to the people and monsters around him when his gentler nature rises to the surface. The Monster Who Lost His Mien. Monsters are a spooky bunch, a scary, hairy group. They run in packs, leave giant tracks, and dine on eyeball soup. Mean, observant, noisy, super strong, and tough to please. Envious, remarkable, a monster's all of these. One day, a monster's M went missing, gone without a trace, and every M is custom made, the kind you can't replace. So now he's just the onster, and the teasing never ends. Not only has he lost his mien, he's lost his monster friends. Boom, boom, crunch, crunch, the onster sits alone for lunch. Boo-hoo, sigh, sigh, the onster's sad and starts to cry. I'm nothing since I lost my mien, he sobs into his stew. I've got to find that M, or else it's bye-bye, monster crew. The onster tears through all his sheets and peeks beneath his bed, explores around the playground and picks apart his shed. He empties every garbage can in all of Monsterwood. He even checks the engine under every monster's hood. Nothing, nada, not a trace. He hangs his hairy head. Without my M, I'm not myself. I'm someone else instead. He can't be mean to human kids, so why not help with chores? Sweeping, heaping, light housekeeping, organizing drawers. He joins in all their soccer games and rules at basketball. He doesn't seem to miss that missing M so much at all. I'm having tons of fun, he laughs, returning from a swim. But then he hears some other monsters making fun of him. The onster feels embarrassed. He sees their point of view. I really need to stop this stuff and do what monsters do. Maybe I'll pretend I'm mean. I bet it's not that hard. Perhaps I'll pull the flowers out of Mrs. Power's yard. He stares at all the roses in their stunning shade of red, but just can't bear to harm them, so he waters them instead.
That's a good idea.
The onster thinks, I'll throw some eggs at Mr. Lander's van, but winds up cooking brunch for the entire Lander clan. I'm way too nice without my M. My monster days are through. I just don't fit in Monsterwood. I'm not sure what to do. He sadly heads on home again with teardrops in his eyes. He swings his front door open and is greeted with, surprise! A party in his honor. The onster's eyes grow wide. His name and picture cover every empty space inside. I'm not a monster after all, the onster comprehends. I may have lost my M, but then I found amazing friends. Boom, boom, pow, pow, the onster waves and takes a bow. Let's have 3 cheers, hip, hip, hooray. He's happier in every way. All of us can and do grow and change. Who you are in your heart is what really counts. And with that, let's say goodbye to Reverend Robin and the adults as they continue the conversation, and we'll head back to Ari. If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we'll sing the children out.
We hold you in our hearts as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Are good when you walk to your goal firmly and with bold steps. Yet you are not evil when you go thither limping. Even those who limp go not backwards. But you who are strong and swift, see that you do not limp before the lame, deeming it a kindness. You are good in countless ways, and you are not evil when you are not good. You are only loitering and sluggard. Pity that stags cannot teach swiftness to the turtles. If your longing for your giant self lies in your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, and that longing is in all of you. But in some of you, that longing is a torment, rushing with a might to the sea, carrying the secrets of the hillsides and the songs of the forest. And in others, it is a flat stream that loses itself in angles and bends and lingers before it reaches the shore. But let not him who longs much to say to him who longs little, wherefore are you slow and halting? For the truly good ask not the naked, where is your garment? Nor the houseless, what has befallen your house?
chatted with them over coffee afterwards. The man handed me his business card. It was glossy black with shiny gold lettering, and introduced himself as the leader of the local satanic group. I thought at first my hearing was a bit off because, sometimes it is. And I asked him to repeat himself, and he did. I'm the head of the local satanic group. So the business card tracked. We got into a coffee hour-sized conversation about his beliefs and whether they were compatible with our denomination's free-thinking philosophy. He argued that Satan is misunderstood, that the devil has been unfairly maligned over the millennia, and that he is God's cosmic twin. He might even have said better half. Tried to keep a straight face. Not evil, but rather cunning, rational, and creative. Compared, that is, to the fuzzy, superstitious beliefs about the power of a transcendent God. I didn't agree, no surprise there. But his argument was compelling and thought-provoking, and I did think, there's a sermon in this. I think about everything, actually. When we speak of the devil, what are we speaking of? Yahweh's fallen archangel, God's mobland fixer, a cunning manipulator, the personification of evil, a provocateur and social corrupter who's responsible for alcohol, weed, sensual pleasure, social media, and jazz. Sorry, Micah. An avatar of depravity who teases out humanity's basic instincts, basest instincts, lowest instincts. Did the devil make you do it? When you say you are wrestling with your demons, what do you mean? And how has the looming image of the devil influenced religion, society, culture, and our own understanding of evil as human beings and Unitarian Universalists? Now, we've all encountered the various depictions and representations of the devil, whether it's the classic menacing horned image like the one I used today for our title page, or in a Stephen King novel like The Stand, any number of horror films and novels, and in the clever TV series Lucifer, which Therese told me about, wherein the devil comes to earth, runs a nightclub, gets into all sorts of scrapes, and ends up in therapy. I'm wading my way through the episodes, 6 seasons. Now, you get the picture. Is the devil real, or is he an avatar of our shadow sides, an actual force in the universe? Or is he a Sunday school lesson of who shows up when we don't draw inside the lines? Now, Americans have mixed views, naturally, about the devil. They have mixed views about everything. In a Harris poll, this is fascinating, 58% believed in an actual hell and in the devil. The devil did not do as well as God, who rated considerably higher at 75%, but he outpaced the theory of evolution, which only 47% of those surveyed said they accepted. Have mercy, Satan has more cred than Darwin. My colleague, Stephen Edgington, offers us a succinct history lesson on the Western world's image of the devil, which are most likely rooted clear back in the Zoroastrian religion of ancient Persia, now Iran. In that culture, some 500 years prior to the Common Era, the world was seen as a battleground between the forces of light and wisdom, led by the god Ahura Mazda and the prince of darkness, Nemarachman. Many of the images of God and the devil that later came to be found in the Judeo and Christian faiths draw on this earlier Zoroastrian influence. While that may explain how we got some of the images of the devil, it still begs the larger question on why such images and why belief in the devil persists. 58%. Newsweek ran an article some years ago that dealt with the topic of continued belief in the devil. After citing some of the most horrible events of the 20th century, I'm sure you can imagine what's coming next, the Nazi Holocaust, the mass murders of the Stalin era, a number of ethnic cleansings, types of genocides, and the like. It ends on this note. Wherever we turn, the century has witnessed evil on a scale unmatched by any other. In an earlier America, evidence such as this would have immediately evoked a name, a face, and an explanation: Satan's powerful domination over a fallen, sinful humanity. Today, evil is experienced as random and ordinary, the article says, devoid of any cosmic significance. Excuse me a minute. Reverend Edgington replied this way to the article. While I'd argue that Newsweek's take on various 20th century evils is on the mark and could have just as easily been written last week, I think the persistence of the image of the devil is because there is a part of us that cannot, contrary to the claim in this article, accept the idea that evil is random and ordinary and devoid of any cosmic significance. What do you think? In 2025, has evil become random and ordinary? Is it the devil's work or ours? Are we horrified by this or so fatigued by the daily onslaught that we want to crawl under the covers with our iPads and a can of Pringles? Maybe a little bit of both, probably a little bit of both. If I had been part of that poll, my answer to the question about the devil's authenticity would have been a resounding no. I'm a humanist who believes that human beings are at the heart of all human evil, just as I believe that human beings are at the heart of all good. But we can be fooled by the devil, not only in others, but in ourselves. The Devil and Dr. Church, a popular and much quoted book by the late Reverend Forrest Church, offers us an insightful insight. The devil's trademark is not evil dressed as evil, but evil dressed as good. The devil's most successful ruse is to cloak himself in virtue. This wise insight helps us in locating the actual source of much of the needless destruction, hatred, and death that human beings have foisted on one another and continue to do so in Gaza, at Alligator Alcatraz, during ice raids in Los Angeles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Think of all the wars, all the genocides, the torture, witch hunts, and crusades based on the hubris that one side is fighting God's holy war against the devil. This is known as moral absolutism, and it is alive and well in the world today. In fact, we are so bombarded by examples of evil and avarice that we are in danger of contracting moral numbness. But I encourage us to resist succumbing to that malady, because evil doesn't and isn't going to take a holiday. Evil is a word that should be fairly easy to define, right? If that were true, there wouldn't be hundreds of books on this subject written from every possible perspective. In Hinduism, evil is part of God, Shiva, both the creator and the destroyer. As Khalil Gibran says, it's good, tortured by its own hunger and thirst. Buddhists claim that evil is an illusion, and that freeing ourselves from grasping and craving will liberate us. There are those in the Jewish and Christian realm who believe that God created everything, including evil. He sent Satan to tempt Adam and Eve, and then later played the same role with Job. Does it in any way soften the impact of evil to believe that it was ordained by God? That's a slippery argument, isn't it? And a repugnant one, in my opinion. I believe the shadow side, we might call the devil, resides in us. Dormant, perhaps, but on call all the same. These are the inner demons we talk about, the gremlin that entices us away from our higher selves. This is where the exercise of evil or goodness is soundly in our own hands. If the devil made you do it, look within. That is the devil in you. How does all of this square with our first principle about inherent worth and dignity, and with the Universalist belief that salvation is available to everyone? We're always grappling with that, aren't we? My colleague, the Reverend Barbara Myers, recalls a workshop she attended at GA many years ago called, "Is Hitler in Heaven?" She remembers that there was a turn-away crowd, everyone hungry for some authentic dialogue on evil and its consequences, and on our first principle. I won't leave you in suspense. Apparently it was a lively discussion, but nobody could answer the question, though many doubted that he was in the heavenly realm we typically think of as the good place. Why? Like, we have to ask. Because he unleashed the demons in him rather than heed his better angels. This is an extreme example, of course. We can make mistakes and not be damned for all time. The way out of hell is genuine self-appraisal, atonement, and renewal, individually and in covenantal community. We UUs are what I would call a progressive communitarian religion. We care about the whole, the greatest good for the greatest number. The 20th century theologian Reinhard Niebuhr offers a definition of evil in that context. He writes, "Evil is always the assertion of some self-interest without regard to the whole, whether the whole be conceived as the immediate community or the total community of humanity or the total order of the planet. The good is, on the other hand, always the harmony of the whole on various levels." And what about our first principle? How does this square with the existence of evil? The Reverend Rebecca Parker, who was president of Starr King School of Ministry, has given this an admirable shot by offering, I think, a very astute insight. She says, evil has to qualify acts, not human beings. We are all capable of evil acts, but our being itself is good, it is worthy, it has value, it has dignity. That works for me in thinking about the inherent worth and dignity and evil acts. And that is the Universalist concept of original blessings, and I wholeheartedly agree. How do we recognize evil? Sometimes it is obvious, and sometimes it is disguised, as executive orders, for instance. We can ask, is it dehumanizing a person or a group of people? Is the action affirming or denying life, liberty, and faith? For us, you use the decision to be on the team which builds up, that which heals, that which is on the side of love, is our spiritual path. And we have a long history of believing that the way to practice faith by combating evil is to be within a voluntary association like this UU congregation. It is here and with other associations like Indivisible or NEA that we can develop courage, meaning, conscience, fortitude, solidarity, and concrete skills to challenge the forces of power in this modern society. We can all be players in small stories of small efforts to stand up to evil, because together, in community, we unleash a powerful energy of hope in our wonderful and wounded world. What might be your small story, your small action? What keeps evil, for all the horror it inflicts, from having the final word is people, plain and simple, people, us, who do the right thing at the right time, people who live by the UU principles and our shared values, people who can still see the essential humanity in the eyes, faces, and hearts of their fellow human beings whose humanity is being denied or decimated, and a willingness to be brave, to continue. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen. Our final hymn is number 146 in the gray hymnal, Soon the Day Will Arrive. Please rise as you are able.
One purpose of church is to encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of many of the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of compassion and creation. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit. Each week, we take an offering to support this church and to share with a local organization doing good works in our community. We have partnered with NAYA, the Native American Family Center, since October, and our partnership will run through August. The Eastros board is in the process of choosing another partner or partners later. NAYA serves Native Americans across the metropolitan area. Their mission is to enhance the diverse strengths of our youth and families in partnership with the community through cultural identity and education. As an urban Indian agency, NAYA impacts the lives of over 10,000 individuals from more than 380 backgrounds annually. If you are attending online, you may donate by visiting our website and clicking on the donate button, or you can scan the QR code right there on the screen. If you are here for the first time, we invite you to let the baskets pass you by and truly be our guests. The gifts of the congregation will now be gratefully received. Our song of gratitude. This is hymn number 1010 in the teal hymnal. Words will be on the screen. The name of this hymn is We Give Thanks. You can remain seated. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest and gauge and heal, love remains the center. When we all can see in cold ashes, love remains. First, I want to thank everybody who participated in making this service happen today. Thank you to all of you. There are quite a few people. The second, want to remind everybody to look in the petals, the emailed petals that came to your inbox. It has lots of great announcements about things like hiking trips and board activities and stuff like that. Check it out, and there are contact names in there if you have questions. And, I have one announcement on paper. You probably noticed the plums in the back next to the door. Well, they're from our plum tree. Eric has picked them, and they are for you. So take a bag home. Take 2 bags home. The one thing we have to ask is don't eat them here. They're very messy. Very messy. Okay, and the last thing is to remind folks that after coffee and tea, or bring your coffee and tea in, that today is a spirited conversation. And that's it.
Thanks, Patty. And thank you, Patty, for your fine worship leadership. I think this has been a topic today that's going to be pretty rich in spirited conversations. So after you've had some time to have some coffee, we'll come back in here and meet in the front. I'll look forward to chatting with you about all things evil. But right now, we will say our benediction together. Okay. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Go out in joy. Return in love.